Guys, thank you so much for joining me in another video. So as you can tell, based on the title, Alessandro Michele did something totally unexpected. Everyone thought, okay, Alessandro Michele is going to drop a collection probably sometime this September, but no, he dropped a resort collection for Valentino. With this online release, we have 171 ready-to-wear looks, as well as 93 plus images of shoes, bags, other accessories. It was a very unexpected move. People have talked about how it's very interesting that he chose to release this collection on this day, simply because this is the release of the Gucci men's collection. If for whatever reason you're not following the whole story behind this, so Alessandro Michele had left Gucci. Apparently there were creative differences between Gucci and Alessandro Michele. Also, there was a bit of a dip in the numbers. Gucci belongs to Kering, and so perhaps they saw that and they thought it was time to change, or they get a new creative director. So obviously Alessandro Michele left. For a few collections, we had a studio team, and then Sabato De Sarno came in, and he was actually the right-hand man of Pier Paolo Piccioli at Valentino. It's very interesting that the second in command at Valentino is now creative director at Gucci, and the former creative director at Gucci is now at Valentino. Another case of these creative directors switching houses. The response from this collection, some people absolutely loved it. Some people were like, oh my gosh, it's Gucci all over again. Alessandro Michele is one of these designers that has a very strong vision, very defined aesthetic. It is very much his. He loves the period of the 70s. There is sort of this gender fluid vibe to his fashion. Dressing up and like going into your grandma's closet, there's that kind of energy that we saw at Gucci. It's about maximalism. Alessandro Michele said Valentino was never a minimalist, rather a maximalist, even in the 70s when he was his most streamlined. Throughout this collection, you absolutely see the references to Valentino. Again, is it very 70s, is it very Alessandro Michele? Yes, but there is also a way at which he is, in his own way, is redefining the house through his creative director lens. And at the end of the day, I think he does it really well. I think it sold really well at Gucci. He totally transformed Gucci. I just remember the 2010s, and it was just, Gucci was so popular. It was almost everyone felt like they had Gucci. I'm not even really like a Gucci gal. I didn't buy any of the bags, but I did get the shoes. I did get this piece of costume jewelry. I got this in like the airport in Rome, and a pair of tights. But for me, I was just focused on collecting other brands when it came to bags. It almost felt like everyone had Gucci, whether it was just on social media, you saw the Gucci Marmont in the form of a handbag, in the form of a belt. The loafers were everywhere. It is very exciting that he is back. This is a resort collection. We're not getting the full Alessandro Michele experience, the whole extravagant shows. This is just a taste of what we are to expect. Now, when it comes to ready-to-wear, like, there is absolutely no way we have the time or the capacity to really go through the 171 looks as well as the 93 accessories images. We'd be here for hours, especially because a lot of these looks are very layered, very maximalist, accessories on accessories. There is just a lot to look at with this collection. We'll take a look at the handbags, and Alessandro Michele, definitely easily one of the top it bags of the 2010s. It's one of the defining handbags of the 2010s, the Gucci Marmont, also the Gucci Dionysus. And I found this article from Purse Blog. Alessandro Michele makes his Valentino debut for Resort 2025. The article definitely highlights how this is a very 70s focused, very maximalist focused collection. The article states the collection overall feels luxe but wearable, and there are a ton of new bags to dissect. While Michele offered riffs on classics like the V logo and the Valentine Loco, new shapes take precedence, like a structured flat bag that offers a similar feel to the Gucci Horsebit 1955 revived during Michele's reign. So the first bag that we see here, I don't know if this is croc, real croc, or if this is mock croc. If you're like an exotics expert, please let me know. We have this very yellow gold antique hardware. I don't know, I think it's okay. I think it's a nice bag. I don't think it's very over the top or overwhelming. The next bag we have is a little bit more Alessandro with this collection. It's this very crystallized vintage clutch style. Also does have a chain strap. It does look like it has like a stud opening that's also very embellished for an events, parties, something to go to dinner with. Next we have this Valentino. It's got this very big V logo, and this is the logo. It looks like they're going with that V that's encased with like these rounded bridges. I think it's okay, like if you are somebody that carries a bigger bag. Next we have this bum bag. There's something about this that just feels so 2010s to me, like millennial fashion. there's just something very peak Instagram with this bum bag style and the studs. Gucci also had bum bags that were popular during that era as well. It gives me millennial fashion in the 2010s. Next we have this caramel V logo bag. The article I mentioned, it's very reminiscent of the Gucci horsebit box style bag. I almost feel like every brand at this point has a box style silhouette. Gucci, of course, now Valentino. Think of like Dior. Celine, of course, has their recent Triomphe, but then like the BB Philo era, which also Louis Vuitton has bags like this. It doesn't feel like a new exciting style to me. If I walk by somebody without knowing this collection, I probably would have thought it was like actually that Louis Vuitton bag. I forget the name of it. Here we have another version of this style. I think it pops more when it has the embroidery. It looks like it's a print on your grandma's furniture or something. It feels more Alessandro like this. Here we have this V logo with this chain strap, flatter version of the tote. And then we have this fringe bag, again with that kind of embroidery detailing, very vintage vibes. How many times I'm going to say the word vintage? Alessandro Michele doesn't keep it simple. He keeps it more over the top, more whimsical. Studs, fringes, embroidery, suede, and him referencing the 70s, this like bohemian hippie 70s style that I think he's just pretty well mastered. So next we have this flat bag. Again, that kind of flap that dips in like that. I'm not gonna lie, it does remind me of the Gucci Marmont bag. Instead of the Gucci Marmont logo, we have this Valentino logo. And again, over the top with the crystallized crystals on this like very yellow gold logo. It's a very Alessandro handbag. Another similar to that style. It's got this, I don't know if this is real lizard or embossed lizard. And then we have this style, which is similar to the first style that we saw with the cross. Here we have this pink lizard, and then we have the V logo, and then we have another sort of mock crop flat bag, very vintage vibes. And then we have this camera bag. Reminds me of another really popular bag from the Alessandro Gucci era was the Soho Disco. Now those camera bags in particular were always like a really nice price point. Feels like this is his Valentino version of that. I do feel like the silhouettes of handbags have changed. Now maybe we'll go back to these more so like 2010 styles, but like these crossbody styles, crossbody flat bags. Yes, they're like a very timeless style in my opinion, and I will always go back to those bags. I have Celine bags like that, and of course, Chanel bags like that. It feels like I haven't really seen on the runway, I haven't seen in like a new fashion collection like a camera bag. It's just a very timeless, very practical wearable bag. He was an accessories designer that knew how to make these bags very wearable, practical, but they were always very heavily embellished and were a statement. This next bag, again, going along the boho hippie kind of style. We actually have two bags here. So we have this fringe style bucket bag with this little smaller V logo, and then we have this satin, or I don't know if it's satin, floral clutch. Again, granny chic vibes. I love like the contrast of a bag like this paired with these fingerless motorcycle gloves. It's very Karl Lagerfeld, or I don't know, it's just cool. When a lot of people look at this, it'll be like, whoa, that's so over the top, it's so crazy, but you could just wear one or two, or you could do like the whole look. Having one of these accessories, whether you're wearing something really simple, could add a little bit more interest to an outfit. So yeah, there's that clutch. So next we have another iteration of the bum bag in this kind of mustard. This to me in the suede, I think of it like rubbing against your body. It will look very worn in, and I think that's kind of also the beauty about suede. It has this like worn in, like lived in look to it. Another double bag look. Little cute Valentino flat bag that kind of reminds me of the Gucci Marmont with like these very embellished crystals. And then you got your like even bigger bag, your bigger sort of tote style bag. And then we have this black flat bag with the gold logo. Here we have the exotic version, and it definitely pops more so with this color. And then we have this other very boho chic. When we think of Valentino, I always think of those 2010s, the rock stud shoes, right? Yeah, the gold and the silver studs, stuff we would see like 12 years ago. There is this like move towards like a more bohemian style and fashion. Latest Chloe collection, there was this bohemian fringe vibe. Pharrell had the Western collection, and there is kind of this boho resurgence happening right now. And of course, Alessandro does this too. Then next we have this satin bag with this cute floral print, the center V logo with the studs. And then it has this quilting effect. And then next we have this style. I have like a soft spot for these animal print style bags. To me, this is very quintessential Alessandro Michele. And then next we have this, I think this is the same bum bag. And if this can be worn like a bum bag and a shoulder bag and work, actually I think it's a more intriguing bag to me. This feels a little bit more like the styles of handbags we've been seeing. You know the way people used to wear like bum bags in like the 2010s and they like wear it over their chest? That kind of like style that we used to see, be it like a Louis Vuitton or Prada or like Gucci. That stuff was very 5 years ago. Having a bum bag that kind of has more of that hobo shape feels a little bit more of a contemporary way to sort of transform this bum bag style. Next we have this cream flap bag. It's a little bit more understated than like the previous version of this in that it doesn't have the pattern. Logo is there, but it's not as pronounced. It's a little smaller. And then here we have this Valentino flap style. Now I think this is very Alessandro. Obviously the embroidery, the florals. I think that like rope detailing like just feels so vintage. It looks like it's embroidered and also beaded as well. Like there are a lot of layers to this. And I think if you're gonna go like Alessandro, you would go with something just more over the top, loud and statement-y. Next we have this boho studded style with the fringe, and then we have another version of this embroidered style with the V logo, and then the trim looks like it's lizard, or it looks like it's supposed to be lizard. I wonder if it's real or not. And then we have this bucket bag in more of this cognac caramelly kind of color. Here's the thing about these fringe bags. I think they look so chic, so amazing and stylish, and again on these models they're styled to perfection. But over time the fringes might start curling up and it may not have that same kind of look, at least when you look at some of these fringe bags on the pre-love market. One thing to keep in mind if you're somebody that likes more of like a perfect look, it just would be a little bit more maintenance. A bag like this would need a little bit more TLC. And then we have another one of these brown croc style bags that we saw in the beginning, and then we have this black and white tote bag or black and cream tote bag, and then we have again the black and cream tote bag layered with one of those clutches on top that we saw earlier, and then another one of these flap style. We saw a cream version of this, and then another one of these box style, very reminiscent of the Gucci horsebit box bags. Next we have again another one of these V totes with one of these clutches styled this layered kind of way. And we have one of these very embellished, embroidered, over the top Western pouch style bags. They're a little bit flatter. It just feels very hippie bohemian. And then we have this snakeskin version of their sort of box style. Honestly, 5 years ago I would have been obsessing over this bag, and I still like these bags, I really do. We've seen a lot of brands do this style and it just doesn't feel as new and exciting. Same token, it is a very classic shape. And then next we have this Valentino embroidered bag. I actually think the embroidery on this is very pretty. These are colors that make me think of my grandma. Like they're a little bit more pastel-y, and the embroidery on this, I can see if you have that granny chic like OG Alessandro Michele kind of vibe, this being a really cute style. And then again we have that sort of tiger stripe print on sort of one of these like Western fringe pouch like bags. And then we are finishing off with the first bag that we saw, but just in a white smooth leather here. So yes, that is the collection. Just scroll down a little bit. When I look at a lot of this collection, a lot of the comments are saying it's very Gucci. People are also saying it's very Alessandro, and I think this is Alessandro sort of claiming this aesthetic as his. What's very interesting when you go look at what is available at Gucci, a lot of Alessandro styles are what is being sold and are probably still the most popular styles, right? I think it'll be interesting to see how this competes with like Gucci. Personally, if I'm gonna be real, I'm not gonna be buying any of these. It's not really a style that I really align with as much. I do think there are some fun handbags, and I definitely think there are a lot of people that will have a lot of fun with these bags. I recently did a video on the recent Chloe bags that we saw. A critique I have, or just point, that you could probably say with a lot of luxury fashion, especially because this is very intentional vintage. Why not just buy vintage? Why not just buy pre-love? Why not just buy like Gucci at like the Gucci outlets where you'll see probably a lot of Alessandro Michele at 70% off. It's not really a new proposition when it comes to dressing, but at the same time I think there are a lot of people that really do enjoy Alessandro's work, so people will buy this. I do think people are legitimately excited that he's back. A lot of people that were sad about him leaving Gucci. Here we have him continuing on his aesthetic. Maybe some people that that like Pier Paolo's Valentino may not like this as much, so there could be that. But the bags, I don't know if they're 100% me, but just the way during the Alessandro period at Gucci, I wasn't really into the handbags. If I'm gonna be honest, a lot of the bags that I was more so collecting in, like, I'm gonna say like more mid to more so like my late 20s, if I'm being real, like more my late 20s, I was more set on Chanel. So if I was gonna get a flat bag, I wanted a Chanel bag than like a Gucci bag. Also, Chanel's going through some changes, so we'll see what happens there. For the customer though that likes that maximalist aesthetic, he is back, he is here, he has something to deliver for you. And I think maybe if you're like me and you just maybe want to test the waters with like a little accessory or pair of shoes, like there's also that too. It'll be interesting to see the stuff in stores. Who knows, maybe I'll be swayed and become really into Valentino. Anyways, that is my video, guys. Would love to know, what do you think of these latest Valentino bags? What do you think about this latest direction of Valentino? Please let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for joining me in another one, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.